Hello and welcome to another installment of Word of Mouth 2021 RCC edition. Today we will be joined by Chad Finan. Chad is going for a creative writing major and hopes of becoming a professional writer and to see his ideas in other forms. Some of his favorite things to do include watching horror movies and listening to music. Chad will be reading a selection from The Red Fox Murders, a horror mystery short story that he wrote during RCC's creative writing course. So without further ado, here's Chad.
It was then in the cold of early spring that the murders began, but it wasn't until the beginning of summer that we realized what an enigma they were. Back then, murders were all too common. Drive-bys and hits in the city, in the forest, the occasional homicide. All heinous as all murder is, but nothing to this malice or complexity. They called them the Red Fox Murders, as creativity had seemed to have only struck the killer. For this killer had taken a dislike or liking depending on how warped one's sense of humor is. For us, red foxes. Being me, when the pattern became clear that the only species was being targeted, our species, the big sister and me kicked in to make sure my brother, Logan, was as close to my side as possible. Even closer since the accident. He told me I'm paranoid, saying, "How long do you expect me that I can live home with you on your schedule? Hell, I can't call it living with." I cut him off, though I understand where he was going. But he's got to understand, almost losing someone once is already too many. The first came in spring, in the middle of March, where the victim, not a snake, squirrel, coyote, or dog, but a red fox, laid in the corner of the room, with a throat stab, eyes still opened, glazed white. The wound went in horizontally, but was twisted to make the exit wound a vertical cut, much like a seppuku. The crime was first noticed by a nearby neighbor, a painted turtle that lived only a stone's toss away. The discovery was a miracle. It's the age-old answer the neighbor probably heard get coined, that being what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force. In this case, the senses that had been lost generations ago that had finally turned up by a search and rescue team, composed slowly by a months-long decay and week-long stagnation of the corpse inside. The area was kept as it was, with the best of us searching for anything missing and look for hairs or feathers of any abnormality. We don't have the same tech humans do. I'm sure they have machines to match DNA out of a sample and split the suspects, just as I'm sure they've moved on past VHS, but we only get remnants of their past. Our supply of media and tech is just the leftovers they've long since forgotten and discarded over the wall that separates us. An afterthought is what we are, a mistake. All in all, with no mismatching follicles, the case was set to be almost a guaranteed dead end, so this team assigned didn't look much further into it. The neighbor, despite her age, was questioned mainly to see if the victim had anyone over lately or heard anything suspicious. She must have mistook it, as she took the time to list off various noise complaints like loud piano playing in the night, but that had stopped about 6 weeks ago. She, however, did not stop complaining until they wheeled out the victim in a body bag. Lucky for her, her sense of sight has also nearly abandoned her too. That was spring. Now it's summer, and the population of one of the most common species in the forest has dwindled to a third of its original size. 11 red foxes, remained in the area, including my brother and me. But it's okay. We're safe now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. That was excellent. Marvelous. Please stay tuned for another installment. The next installment will have Gabriel Goldstein. Thanks so much.